Hey, what's up guys? I'm back once again for another video, and in this video I'm going to be doing sort of a movie review, but I'm also going to be sharing my own thoughts on a new movie that I just got a chance to see. I didn't get a chance to see it when it first came out in theaters, and yeah, I've actually been wanting to check this movie out for a while, but it is the Carrie remake, and when it, and I have been wanting, like I said, I've been wanting to see this for a while. I didn't get a chance to to see it in theaters, like I said. And the main reason for that is because even though I wanted to see it, I really am not really interested in spending a lot of money on a remake. You know, because there's so many remakes that are coming out lately, and some of them are good, some of them are bad. And I really just didn't feel like going to the theater and sitting through a whole movie and not liking it, and then walking out of the theater saying, wow, I just spent money on that. Same thing with buying it. I did not buy it. I actually got it from a Redbox, and the main reason is because, like I said, I just didn't want to spend a lot of money on a Blu-ray or a DVD of this movie and then not enjoy it. You know, so I rented it from Redbox and I just popped it in. And I must say, I was really surprised by this one. I really enjoyed this remake. There's a lot of things in it that I didn't like, but there's also a lot of things in it that I did like. So I'm just going to go ahead and share my own thoughts on it. Now, I'm not going to really talk a lot about the actual story, because if you've seen the original Carrie, then you guys know what the whole story is. And as I've said in my original Carrie review, I talked about how I related to Carrie a lot because of how she felt alienated and alone in high school, and she felt very, outcasted and very sad, and that's how I felt in high school. I've always felt, really sad and really, depressed during high school, basically. And so I can really relate to her. I never once thought about, oh, I just want to set everybody on fire. It never got that far, but I can really understand how it was for her. And the girl that plays Carrie is Chloe. I cannot remember her last name right now, but she, of course, she played the girl in, Kick-Ass, which I really enjoyed the two Kick-Ass movies. I know that some people like them, some people don't. I really enjoy them. And, I actually thought that she did a really good job. I noticed she's kind of stepping into like big territory, with Sissy Spacek, of course, playing the role in the original. And I really did like the way that the way she did it. Of course, when you first see her in the film, she's got these suspenders on. She's walking around with both her arms sort of like on by her side, and you can really tell she's very ashamed of her body in some way, and she really doesn't want anybody to even look at her very much, and she tries to hide behind her hair, and of course there's the opening shower scene, and during that scene when she has her period. If you guys know the original, she has her period and people make fun of her for it. Well, in this one, there's a scene in it where she's washing her stomach and stuff, and it actually looks like the exact same scene as in the original, meaning that they copied the two same shots. Which, in one way, I thought it's good to pay homage to the original, but another way, I kind of felt like that they were just sort of like, oh, let's just throw this scene in there because it looks the same. But that was just a minor thing for it. But she has her period, and of course everybody starts laughing at her. And I think in this one, they actually get a bunch of tampons and they start tossing them at her and covering her with tampons and blood. And she's crying out to them because she thinks that she's dying. And it's a really sad scene. But there's one girl in it, Sue, who her character is in the original, but in the original, her character is different. In this one, she's actually really nice. She's actually nice to Carrie. At first she sees what the girls are doing, and at first she sort of goes along with it. But then she kind of, goes back and says that was too much. So for this one, I think that the Sue character is a lot more likable than she is in the original, and her character comes into play later on. You can also notice the big, the modern thing where after they're covering her with tampons, when a girl gets out a camera or her phone and starts videotaping it, and of course puts it on YouTube, which you know, is what people do now, since, you know, social media is so big right now that pretty much anything that goes on is on, you know, YouTube or on Facebook. And of course, you know, so she puts it on there and the whole school sees it, which of course, you know, doesn't help Carrie. When you first, her mom is played by Julianne Moore, who I thought was actually really good in this one as well. She wears all black in the movie, and in the opening scene, you see her hitting her head against the door frame, or the door of the closet that she locks Carrie in. And you're kind of wondering why she does that. And throughout the entire film, she does things like she'll scratch her leg or her arms like really, really hard, or you know, at one point she works at a clothing place, and she gets a knife or something, starts digging into her leg, and I'm not really sure exactly what that is. I think it has something to do with she has so much anger behind her, she just has to hurt herself, or, well, I didn't really get it when I first saw it, but I'm starting to think that she's sort of like doing that to herself because she doesn't like that Carrie was born at all. You know, she hates the fact that she brought a baby into the world because to her, you know, everything is religious to her. If you know the original, she's very complete religious fanatic. And she basically just thinks that, you know, Carrie is an abomination. In the opening scene in the movie, you actually see her laying in bed and she's just covered in, the mom, Julianne Moore, and she's covered in blood. And then she ends up getting up and then and she basically has Carrie, you know. And that was kind of a bit unrealistic because because she keeps crying and asking God, you know, what's going on to me, what's going on to me. And I'm kind of wondering, does she not know what having a baby is like? Well, I mean, I'm sure she didn't know what it actually was like, but I'm sure that she was a grown woman, so I'm sure she was smart enough to know that she was pregnant and that she was having a baby, you know. You know, there's no way that she can be that, like, you know, there's no way a woman that age does not know, okay, I'm pregnant, I'm going to have this baby, you know, you know. But she was just acting like it, you know, wasn't happening, or like she didn't know what was going on. But she has Carrie, and in the first scene, she actually almost stabs her with a pair of scissors. And then she decides to keep it because, like I said, she thinks Carrie's an abomination, basically. She thinks that all women getting pregnant and having sex is a complete sin. You know, she got angry with Carrie when Carrie comes home that she was pregnant, locks her in her closet like she always does. And, you know, it's kind of sad because some parents are like that. Some people are that into their religion that they're like that. I'm not trying to say anything bad to anybody that's religious, but when you're locking your kid in your closet, that's kind of messed up. But, you know, the rest of the story is basically almost the same. The only difference is that in this one, the Sue character, she's actually really nice, and she actually asked her boyfriend to take her to prom. In the original, she asked her to take her to prom for all this, so that she could get, you know, of course, the pig blood dropped on her. I think that's how it went. In this one, she feels really bad for Carrie, and she feels upset that she was one of the girls that threw, you know, the tampons at her. And of course she stops, and, you know, and now she feels remorse, so she asked her boyfriend to take her to prom. And her boyfriend's not, you know, he's actually not a bad guy. You actually do like him in this one. Like in the other one, you know, you weren't a big fan of him. But in this one, he actually is a pretty nice character. Seems like a nice guy. He's kind of a jock character, but he's not as bad. You know, he's not like one of those, you know, all about football and stuff. And even the girl, like I said, Sue, she seems like a nice girl, you know. But basically, it's just a modern retelling of the original. Of course, all the girls are all getting, you know, they listen to like rap and stuff like that, and they're hanging off their boyfriends that are all like jocks. The main mean girl that wants to cover her, that eventually decides to cover her in blood, her boyfriend, you know, he's kind of this big husky guy, you know, and he's like he's a douchebag. I'm just gonna say it, the guy's just a douchebag. He's a jerk. But in this one, in the original, the girls were the ones that planned to pour blood on Carrie. And this one, it's her boyfriend. It's the main girl, the main like mean girl's boyfriend that says, well, you want to get back at Carrie, so we're going to cover you in blood. And how they're getting back at her is the gym teacher actually knows that the girls were throwing tampons at Carrie. I forget the woman's name that did it, but she was a pretty nice character in this movie. I liked her. I like her. I like the actress that plays her. I can't really remember her name, but I like her. I thought she was pretty nice, and she basically tells the girls, hey, you guys are gonna jog and do all this stuff in gym, and if you don't, then you're missing out on prom, basically. And then of course the main girl, she's like, no, I'm not going to do it. So she gets suspended and doesn't get to go to prom, which leads her to want to get revenge. There's also a scene where they actually do go to a farm, and you actually do see them smash a pig's head in with a sledgehammer. You don't really see it actually hit the pig, but you do see the boyfriend throw it down, and which I thought was, you don't really need to see that, but it was our, but yeah, I thought it was a pretty decent remake. Like I said, there's a lot of things I didn't like. Most of the stuff I didn't like were the special effects. Every type of special effect, even the blood, is CG, which I thought was really bad. Like the main time I saw it was when the house at the end collapsed, and you can see like every single piece of rock is CG, which I just remember back when they used to do movies where they would get a house and just then collapse it, get like a rail house and collapse it. It looks so much more realistic. I don't know why everything has to be CG now. I know that it's cheaper that way, or it's supposedly cheaper, but at the same time, how hard is it to make a house? They already build stages for or sets for movies, so why not they just build the outside of a house and then collapse it? I don't see how that's that difficult, and even though if it did cost a lot of money, the movie's going to make that money back, which I really hope that this movie did make a lot of money, because it was, like I said, it was probably one of the better remakes that I've seen. But, yeah, that was it. Also, the scene at the end when, of course the blood gets poured on Carrie, and the scene when everything happens, it is a lot different than the way it is in the original. I'm not going to go into detail about all the things that happen, but like I said, some of it is unrealistic in a way. Some of it was pretty good, but some of it was just, So for the special effects and things like that, I did not like. But for the acting and for pretty much everything else, I really did like it, Like I said, the girl, Chloe, I really liked her. I like her in all of her movies. I even liked Kick-Ass 2. I know a lot of people say they don't like it, but I really did like, her portrayal of Carrie. She makes her own dress and everything. When she goes to prom, she's so happy. And in this one, you don't hate the guy that she's going with, because the guy, like, he legitimately wants to go with her. And, he ends up, being a pretty nice guy, unlike the original. But, yeah, the bullies in the movie, the girls in the movie, they're relentless, which, that's just how it is. Like, in high school, people are relentless. They will make fun of you for anything. And, of course, they bear down on Carrie, and at the end of the movie, when all the bad stuff just starts happening, you're just kind of like, yeah, you know what? You girls were bitches. You deserve it. And especially the main girl, I can't remember her name, because I don't care, I don't care to remember the main mean girl's name, but her boyfriend is such a douchebag. Like, he was the one that wanted to pour blood on her, and then when they're up there, and right before they pour the blood on her, he's like, no, we gotta get out of here right when we're gonna do this, because I'm already on probation, I can't go back to jail. And she's like, alright, fine. And he goes, you better keep your mouth shut about this, or I'm gonna kill you. And I'm like, alright, dude. Yeah, I cannot wait to watch you die. I could, like, some of these girls, I mean, I hate to say this, but some of the people in this movie, you were just like, yeah, I'm glad you're dead now. People were shitty. But, like I said, you know, I know this review's been going on for too long, but if you guys have not seen the original Carrie remake, I would definitely recommend renting it. I don't know if it's worth, like, the 20, however much it is. I know it's like $20, but it was really, really good. Like I said, the acting was great. The characters, they had a good story by them. You got to know the characters. There was a lot more likable characters in this movie than there were in the original. I also like that the massacre at the end was a lot different than the original. In the original, Sissy Spacek, she sort of just stands there, and then you see her eyes open, and she just moves around. And this one, Carrie's like she's floating in the air, and she's just moving her head around, making stuff like that, which, you know, I know some people are like, well, that's not, you know, that's kind of weird, you know, because, you know, when Sissy Spacek just standing there with her eyes open, something about that is like her eyes wide, it's like really creepy. So in this one, when she's doing that, you're kind of like, eh, but I like that they decided to do that. I like that they put a spin on it. You know, it kept close enough to the original story that, you know, that I'm sure it would satisfy people that really enjoy the original, but it added enough, you know, enough modern stuff to make it, you know, likable to even more modern crowds, you know. So, you know, like I said, guys, if you have not seen the Carrie remake, I definitely recommend checking it out, at least renting it, because this has been one of the best horror remakes I've seen in a while. It definitely holds up, you know. Of course, nothing will touch the classic, but this was a really, really good, you know, solid movie on its own. You know, even so, yeah, I know that I've been all out on this review, but I just wanted to share my thoughts for the movie. If you guys have seen the movie, please let me know what you guys think. You know, leave a comment down below or whatever. You know, and let me know what you guys think about it, because I really don't know how much people have liked it or not, but I really did enjoy it. So, yeah, like I said, give it a watch if you can find it. Also, in case anybody's wondering, I'm now back on Facebook. So, I used to not be, but now I'm back. So, if anybody wants to add me, just go to my channel and go to the top where my banner is, and you should see the icon, so you add me on there. But, anyway, guys, thanks for watching. Check out Carrie, and let me know what you guys think about the movie if you've seen it. Hope everybody's doing good, and I'll see you guys later.